to the pub?
Yeah, man.
Where are you guys going?
Oh, you can't come.
What? Why?
Well, you can only go if you're in a 1, 2, or a 5.
How does that make any sort of sense?
It's just the way it is. For now. Our Fire in the Skies event ended earlier this week, and you all earned over 64,000 trinkets. When the event ended, we also put live the 4th and final preview of our new map, Dockyard. All of the previews are in a playlist on our channel, so make sure you check them out. The map itself is currently undergoing its final round of testing and checks before it's ready for you guys to wreak havoc on the 23rd of May. So until then, equip your favourite trinket and
capture the bloody objective!
2 months ago, we rebooted Ranked Mode with Rank Season 2. Since it started, we've heard a lot from you. Good things, bad things, painful things. As you know, competitive games are the most fun you can have with a keyboard and mouse, so we see Ranked as the cornerstone of the game. We plan to make improvements with every Ranked season, so we want to give you a heads up on some of the changes that we'll be making when Season 3 begins in June. First up, we're adding in the ability to let you search in 3 and 4 person parties. This is a highly requested feature, so we've looked into a solution for partying up with any size. Originally we kept it at solo, duo and 5-player teams to prevent unfair games, but since then we've made some tweaks to matching algorithms to account for different party sizes. Next, we're switching up how the map selection process works. When finding a match, you'll have the option of deselecting 3 maps. This will increase the map pool being searched for and decrease queue times, while letting you weed out the maps you don't want to play. In order to help combat smurfing, we'll be adding in unranked party limitations, so unranked players will not be able to party up with anyone ranked gold or above. We'll also be increasing the penalties received by leaving matches to try and deter this behaviour even further. All of these, plus user interface improvements and new rewards, should see Rank Season 3 kicked off with a bang. We're taking things back this week to one of LCTR's older videos. In it, he runs through 7 important tips and tricks that you need to know, so give it a watch and try them out. Last week, the most reported issues were ranked match balance, lack of content, and merc costs. For ranked match balance, we're making a load of changes to ranked for Season 3, which should help improve this. For lack of content, we have our new map Dockyard releasing on the 23rd of May, and we have other maps in the pipeline too. And lastly, for merc costs, if you knuckle down and focus on completing your missions, you'll have enough credits in no time. And remember, they refresh every 3 hours. Which of these changes to ranked are you looking forward to most? Let us know in the comments below. And remember to subscribe for future news and updates.
Hi guys, this is Chris, producer at Calypso for Sunstrike 4. It has been a while since we announced the game at Gamescom in 2016, and we wanted to make a little bit of a follow-up to see what has been happening since Gamescom. So, for everybody who's new to the project, let us jump into what is Sunstrike 4. Basically, Sunstrike 4 is your typical World War II RTS. Everything that you would want from an RTS game in the Second World War area. What do we have? It is single player, it is multiplayer, it is skirmish. And in single player we have 3 big campaigns. The German campaign, the Soviet campaign, and the Allied campaign. And as you will see, each campaign spans over the European scenario, over 7 big battles. And what we have in this is, what we wanted to have is a mixture of really well-known battles and battles that have been enacted not so much in World War II strategy games. So what we have, of course, is Stalingrad, the Battle of the Bulge. We have in the Allied campaign Operation Overlord, of course. We have Operation Market Garden. But we also kind of have operations that haven't been featured so much, like Operation Plunder, the crossing of the Rhine in near Wesel. We also have Battle of the Hürtgen Forest, for example, which is kind of a nice take that is different from each other. And in the Soviet campaign, we have, of course, it spans from the Siege of Leningrad to the Battle of Berlin, which is kind of like the final big battle, severing the head of the beast, let's say. But of course, also we have some missions that are kind of similar in two campaigns, so that you can play them from both sides. For example, the Battle of Stalingrad, like you will try to take Stalingrad as the Germans, but you will also defend Stalingrad as the Soviets. And then we have some other missions with the Soviets as well, like the Balaton Defense Operation or the Battle of Kharkov. But then what we really wanted to focus on is the biggest tank battles. I mean, Sunstrike was always like focused on big battles. So we have the Battle of Kursk or Prokhorovka, as you'd call it, Moscow operations, Berlin operations, you name it. What you would want from this operation, from a game like this. As said, we're focusing on the European scenario so far. So that is what we want to focus on for Sunstrike 4. The tutorial, of course, as you see here, we have a tutorial outside of the campaigns. The tutorial will be the attack on Poland with the Germans, but we'll also have skirmish missions and multiplayer. So, yeah, what else do we want to know in the very beginning? Oh yes, let's see. If you jump into one of the missions, let's say we jump into the Soviet campaign and into the Siege of Leningrad. So, normally, what you get is a kind of a historical background on each mission, kind of what happened here, why are you here, what is the mission goal, and then you will jump into the mission and you will choose from one of 3 different generals, like what we call it the doctrine. You're not directly playing these generals, but your main character, or the character that you're portraying, is following the doctrines of these historical characters. For the Soviets, we have Rokossovsky, we have Zhukov, and we have Zhukov. Rokossovsky is very much focused on infantry tactics. Zhukov is focused on armored division tactics, and Zhukov is focused on support tactics, artillery, something like that. So let's take Zhukov. The way this is set up is, as you go through the campaign, and depending on how well you fare in the missions, you unlock these stars. And with the stars, you unlock new skills for the commanders, the generals, the doctrines. So what we didn't want this to be is that you kind of just unlock, okay, +5 on attack or +10 on movement or something like that, which doesn't really have any impact on the gameplay itself. But what we wanted this to be is every skill that you unlock is very vital to how you play a mission. Like, you will unlock smoke grenades, and smoke grenades will completely change the way you play some missions. So the feeling that we wanted the player to have is you go back and you think, now I have smoke grenades. How would I actually have succeeded in the mission if I would use that? I could go back and completely play the mission differently in a more stealthy way, for example. And then, but we'll talk about the general system a little bit much more later, like in the factions as well. So let's jump into the mission, and then you kind of get a mission outset, like, okay, what is the main objectives, but really just in a very down to earth way, not really much detail on that, just where are the front lines, where is the supply trucks in this mission, for example, going, where are your main objectives, and what is the overall mission setup of this. The idea is you get an idea of what will happen in a mission, but as this is war, things will change. I mean, every plan is just as good to the point where you actually meet the enemy. So the only things that you get at the very beginning is a setup of what is supposed to happen. If that will be the final outcome of the mission, you don't know, but let's see. So to show you a little bit of what actually makes a Sunstrike mission and how it actually plays compared to other RTS games, let's jump into the Leningrad mission. Okay, you'll get kind of a small fly-in into the mission, let's say. And this mission, I believe we didn't show so much so far. The setup of this is Leningrad was besieged from the west, from the Germans, and what the Russians did was set up a road through or over the frozen lake Ladoga on the east side of Leningrad, and bring in supplies. That's why the road was called the Road of Life. And your mission, or your objective in this mission, is to secure the road over Lake Ladoga and protect the convoys coming through from the German attacks from the west. What you initially, from the very get-go, see in a mission of Sunstrike is that you have no base building in this. So compared to other RTS series, there's no base building. You have to completely work with what you have. So the units that you get at the beginning of the mission are crucial, and you need to take care of each and every unit and see what its pros and cons are and how you work with them. Also, it is very crucial, especially in higher difficulty missions, to keep track of how much ammunition your tanks and other vehicles have, how much fuel they have, and to keep the supply lines going with repair trucks and supply trucks. Being kind of historically accurate is also that you can't repair armor of vehicles, for example, but you can repair critical damages. Like, for example, if you see this BT-7M light tank, the units or the icons that you see down here is the engine can be damaged, the tracks can be damaged, the turret can be damaged, or it can have too little crew in it. So that's all the critical damages that can happen to something like this. You see that we got some reinforcements here, but still it's not much, and we need to work with what we got. So Sunstrike was always about being tactically wise with what you have, and using the units you have to your best advantage. The reason why I really like to show the Leningrad mission is not only because it has a nice blue hue, which is always very nice to show, but also it shows that we wanted to have each mission in the game, each mission to have a really unique setup. So something small, unique mechanic that it has. Of course, the unique mechanic in this mission is that that you are playing on a frozen lake, and the ice can break. So you can use that to your advantage and shoot the ice away from the under the feet of the Germans. But you also need to take care of where you place your own units, because the Germans can use that as well. So, for example, you will search for these like safe spots, let's say, in the ice, to position your units, and be careful not to flank outside of that range so that you go onto the ice. Of course, it's the first Soviet mission, so it's not that hard, and it's only like a small set of units that you come up with, but it's still kind of a unique mechanic in it, and that's what we want to have with each and every unit with each and every mission in Sunstrike 4.
Rated T for teen.
That's okay.